What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Supes channel. My name is Matt Supes. I'm hosted on this channel. I aim to entertain, inform, and inspire using the topic of discussion as always, which is superheroes. Today we have a new episode of the Supes Show. It's going to be a very chill episode where we talk about the aftermath of Superman, and now this will also be my final video before I watch Fantastic Four. I'm watching the film on Monday at the world premiere, and right after that, like, early reactions are going to be allowed to be posted online, and so I will very much be giving you guys my reaction right after the theater, and so that's just something to look forward to. Again, Monday will be my Fantastic Four reaction. I'm really excited for this movie. You guys know I've been saying from the beginning, this is the Marvel events of 2025. My two most anticipated Marvel projects were Daredevil Born Again, which I loved, and now we have, on the movie side of things, Fantastic Four. And looking ahead to Avengers Doomsday, Fantastic Four is going to be so freaking integral to just the way things are set up when it comes to Doomsday, because this is the final movie leading into Doomsday, you know what I'm saying? So there's going to be a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot going on in the world of pop culture, and coming off of Superman, this is just kind of surreal, guys. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but as a DC fan, it has just been so surreal to see the world celebrating this character on this scale, to see so many people loving the movie. I mean, I've been seeing so many videos, my hair stuck in my eye. I've been seeing so many videos of like people taking their kids to go watch Superman and their kids being introduced to Superman for the very first time. And I just feel like this is the perfect movie for that, for the next generation. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just been surreal seeing the Superman love. It's been so fun making so many videos and theorizing as to what's going to come next. You know, between Superman and Fantastic Four, I don't think there's really that much to theorize when it comes to Fantastic Four. I feel like with the way Fantastic Four has been marketed, it is one of my hopes going into Monday, finally seeing the film, is that I really hope it isn't as predictable as it looks. Because with the way the film has been marketed, I feel like we've seen so much of the movie already. And we've seen so many different beats. You know, it's like, all right, we're going to get introduced to the Fantastic Four in this alternate universe. They're the main heroes, only heroes of this world. And then everything's looking all good. The family finds out that Sue is pregnant. And then they go out one night and Silver Surfer arrives to Earth. She warns them of Galactus' arrival. They go meet Galactus. They try to bargain with him to see if he can leave Earth alone. Galactus reveals that he's coming after Franklin, and if they give him Franklin, he'll leave Earth alone. And then they're basically like, hell no, we're not giving you our kid. And so Galactus eventually comes to Earth, and the Fantastic Four eventually end up finding a way to stop him. I feel like that is exactly what we've seen throughout the marketing, and I just hope the movie isn't as predictable as that. I hope there's so many more layers to the film, and I'm sure there will be, right? The cast all look incredible, and I don't see myself not enjoying the movie whenever those four are on the screen interacting together, giving us those dynamics we love so much. Now, if you guys had to ask me, Supes, how do you think Fantastic Four is going to end? I don't think Galactus is going to destroy this universe. I really don't. Like, just because we had that Thunderbolts post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four ship arriving into the main MCU universe, I don't necessarily think that means that Galactus is going to destroy this Earth. I think that would be just a very grim and dark ending that wouldn't fit with the PG-13 family vibe that Marvel is really trying to push with Fantastic Four. You know, if there's one word you can describe this entire marketing campaign, it has been family. Marvel, Disney, they're trying to get kids and families in the theater to go watch this movie. And so if this is the movie that they're marketing family as like the main centerpiece, I don't think the movie is going to end with Galactus destroying all of Earth and 4 out of the 8 billion people that live on that Earth are going to be the only ones to survive and head over to the main MCU. I just think that's too dark of an ending. I would love that ending personally, because I feel like this movie being set in a separate universe is the perfect excuse to have Galactus win in a way, and to have just so much collateral damage in a way that, like, there wouldn't be repercussions, because you can just say it's an alternate universe and the Fantastic Four need to make their way over to the MCU. However, again, I do think that would be way too grim of an ending, and I don't necessarily think it means that the Fantastic Four coming to the MCU in that Thunderbolts post-credit scene because their world is ending. You know, the Fantastic Four are explorers. They're constantly going into outer space. They're constantly exploring and pushing the boundaries. And throughout the marketing, we can see that Reed Richards is already researching multiversal time travel and being able to travel to multiple Earths. That's very in line with who someone like Reed Richards is. Again, explorers, constantly exploring. And so I feel like, you know, we could get to see at the beginning of Fantastic Four Reed studying multiversal travel, and he can't crack it. And then by the end of the film, maybe in like the post-credit scene or the final scene, he gets it and it finally works. And that's where it leads into the Fantastic Four coming over to the MCU, because they're just, again, it's just like a multiversal travel type of deal. But you know, I also think in that post-credit scene, we are going to see Doctor Doom, and I'm very curious to see how they use him, because, again, this is the final movie before Avengers Doomsday, and with Doctor Doom sharing such a rich history with the Fantastic Four and with a character like Reed Richards, I feel like you need to have him in this film at least. Have it be either the post-credit scene or the end of the movie where you tease Doctor Doom. You don't even necessarily need to show Robert Downey Jr. Just show us Doom in his armor, and that alone will get all of the butts in seats ahead of Doomsday coming out December of next year. So now I'm really starting to think about it, guys. When I really think about it, I think there are just a few things that I really need from Fantastic Four in order for it to be a true success for me. One is for all of the castings to just be incredible, and they all look incredible, but again, watching things from a trailer is different than watching things from a movie. There's been times where we've seen great trailers for films, and then we watch the film, and it's a completely different situation. And so I really hope all of the castings hit home, and it's a great dynamic. And that is my main thing. Second thing is I'm really looking forward to Michael Giacchino's score. That Fantastic Four theme that we keep on hearing in the trailers sounds amazing. It sounds like one of Giacchino's best, and I really hope the rest of the score is just as prominent as that main theme. You know what I'm saying? So the score, the character dynamics and the castings, the score, and bro, I just want them to ore farm the crap out of Galactus. And I really love how they've already been doing that with the marketing, you know, not showing Galactus at all, not letting us hear his voice. And guys, the actor who plays Galactus, that man has one of the most, like, powerful voices I've ever heard in my life. And so I'm really happy they're saving that moment for the theater experience, because I really want them to portray Galactus in the way that, like, you would portray someone like Godzilla. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that scene where we first saw Godzilla in the 2014 Godzilla movie. It was like the airport battle, and then it starts off at people looking at Godzilla's feet, and then the camera starts to pan up and the score swells, and you get that first full shot of Godzilla. Just absolutely chills. One of just the greatest moments to ever experience in a theater. And so I hope they treat Galactus in the same way, and it really feels like they are, with judging off of the way the film has been marketed. And finally, I really truly just need a little teaser heading into Doomsday. Thunderbolts was such a shift, I feel, for the MCU. It really felt like one of the first films, and Disney has talked about it, it was one of the first films that Marvel made after the company overhaul, where they started to shift from, instead of greenlighting every freaking Disney Plus show and making multiple movies that spread Kevin Feige too thin, now they're slowing down and they're prioritizing quality over quantity. Captain America Brave New World felt like one of the consequences of the previous way Marvel used to make stuff over the past few years. But then when we look at something like Thunderbolts, it feels like one of the rewards of them making something the right way, taking their time, trusting a filmmaker and his vision, and letting it go, and making it in tandem with what the MCU is planning overall. Because Thunderbolts is a great standalone story, but it did a great job at teeing up Fantastic Four and what's to come in the Avengers films. And so now when I look ahead to something like Fantastic Four, I do want this to be a fairly standalone story, but then give us that tease, give us that setup, give us that springboard that's going to get us more excited than ever before to see what's to come for Doomsday. Because guys, they're filming Doomsday and Secret Wars back to back. We don't know, aside from Spider-Man Brand New Day, we don't know if Marvel's going to make any other movie to end this multiverse saga. It really just feels like they're putting all of their eggs in the baskets of the Russo brothers with Doomsday and Secret Wars. And so I just, these are gargantuan Marvel events, and Marvel is going to try to make these films bigger than Infinity War and Endgame. They're going to we already know they're bringing back the OG X-Men, but like, they're going to bring back everyone and their mother that they know we care about. And if they handle the characters correctly, it will work. We're gonna melt, you know what I'm saying? If we see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Hugh Jackman, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, all these different types of characters interacting with each other, and it makes sense and it works for the movie and what it's trying to say, I really truly feel like in the Russo brothers we trust. They haven't failed us yet when it comes to Marvel films, and so we gotta trust them. But like I was saying, coming off of Fantastic Four, we need to have just a jolt. I remember watching Thor Ragnarok in theaters, and that post-credit scene where Thanos' ship shows up, and then that was the last film leading into Avengers Infinity War. That, like, the amount of excitement I felt, that genuinely took over my life. I don't think you guys understand. I was spending every day in high school, like, talking with my friends at the lunch table, just theorizing about this movie. It was the only thing I can think about. And so once I watched Infinity War, I was like, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I need to document my excitement and everything leading up to Endgame. Marvel can crash and burn after Endgame, and I will be a happy man if I just document my excitement and my journey towards Endgame. And that was one of the reasons I started making videos in the first place. My first video I ever posted was in September of 2018, and it was a Spider-Man PS4 gameplay. But a huge part of my inspiration to even make a channel in the first place was because of that excitement I had from Infinity War to Endgame. And so Doomsday is definitely going to lead into Secret Wars in a similar way, and Doomsday will likely end off in like just a massive cliffhanger where Doom wins and takes over the multiverse and creates Battle World. But having that project-to-project momentum, I feel, is just so important for when you're building a universe. DC is doing a great job of that. You know, DC ended Superman, where Superman was a singular standalone story, but we also had that Supergirl cameo, and it planted the seeds for what's to come in Supergirl, and it also planted the seeds for what's to come in Peacemaker. And again, bro, I just love that project-to-project hype. I love that project-to-project connectivity. I feel like that's a huge part of what made the MCU great in its early days, is that it felt like almost damn near every single project was leading into the next. Iron Man in 2008 had that post-credit scene where Nick Fury recruits Iron Man to the Avengers, but guess what? Iron Man shows up in Incredible Hulk, and he's talking to Thunderbolt Ross about Hulk. And then Captain America, obviously Nick Fury shows up in the post-credit scene of that, and it all builds up to the Avengers, and it felt like everything was building up to the next thing, and it was just so exciting. And I really hope that Marvel continues to go back to that formula, because it feels like when it comes to Phase 4 and 5, we've been getting so many post-credit scenes and so many setups for things we're never gonna see, and Marvel doesn't even have a plan for. I mean, when did Marvel ever get into a space of teasing something that they don't have any plans for, bro? Like, again, a perfect example is Harry Styles in the post-credit scene for Eternals, Hercules in the post-credit scene of Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Knight in the post-credit scene of Eternals. Like, how many post-credit scenes have they used over the course of Phase 4 and 5 where they've, like, introduced a new character that is going to change things up, and then they just have no plans for that? Blade ends up recruiting Dane Whitman in the post-credit scene for Eternals, and that was so exciting at the time. But guess what? We're probably never going to see that. Like, there's not, in my opinion, at this point, there's not really a high chance that Mahershala Ali Blade movie is ever going to happen. It's just gone through so much. They've had him on standby for so many years, and his career has taken a hit for it. And so I feel at some, like, you know, if the movie doesn't get made pretty soon, I feel like Mahershala should definitely move forward, and he probably will, because the movie was announced in 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019 at Comic-Con, or no, I think it was 2020 Comic-Con. No, it was 2019 Comic-Con. And now we are sitting here in 2025, and the movie is nowhere near getting made. It was actually reported a while back that they used some of the pre-production costumes on Blade for the Sinners movie. Like Ryan Coogler literally purchased a lot of the pre-production stuff that Marvel was using for Blade and used it for Sinners. And so it just feels like such a long journey ahead for that Blade movie, and I really don't think it's getting made. But like I was saying, man, again, I just want Marvel to have a plan in place, and it feels like with them slowing down on the amount of projects they've been making, like we're actually gonna get back into that project-to-project connectivity, project-to-project momentum, because again, in Phase 4 and 5, there was just so many Marvel projects coming out, and it was way too much for people to keep up. A lot of us, we're just gonna naturally keep up on this stuff because we are just the diehard fans, but I want the MCU and the DCU to be accessible for everyone. That's what makes things better, you know, when we have more people to talk about this stuff with. And when we can talk about it with like our friends and family who aren't as into this stuff as we are, but they get it and they're excited and they understand and it feels like they're included. Whereas for the past few years, when it comes to like being a Marvel fan, it's felt like kind of like a niche thing because so many people have just opted out because it just became too much too fast. Another thing I want to talk about in the world of superheroes is Invincible, because guys, it was just announced this week that Invincible Season 5 has been announced and they've already finished the voice recordings for it. Crazy! Because, yo, like straight up, dude, Invincible is my favorite show. This is the show that, like, if there were any show out right now, I'm picking Invincible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am obsessed. I miss it so much. Season 3 was the best season yet, and that's saying a lot because seasons 1 and 2 were also fantastic. And with the way season 3 ended, man, I'm just so excited for the next and the next. And, you know, Amazon, I feel like, has done a great job of continuing to just up the budget and up the amount, the production, like, or the size of the production, because now with season 5 having been announced, we know season 4 is finishing up. They're finishing up season 4 now, and that's going to release at some point in 2026. And now with season 5 announced and that they're already done with the voice recordings, that will very likely release maybe even at the end of 2026, early 2027. But it feels like Amazon has just gotten in a great groove of momentum with the production of the seasons of Invincible. That wait from Invincible Season 1 to Invincible Season 2 was insane. And it was like a 2-3 year wait in between seasons. And I feel like people are just tired of kind of like, I hate to say it, but like the Stranger Things era of TV production where you have to wait, you know, like 2-3 years for another season and it ends up being like 6 to 8 episodes. No, bro. Like, let's get back into making TV where we get a season a year. And with something like Invincible, I'm not going to say it's easier, but like, it's just less physical production because it's all animation, you know what I'm saying? So you just have to bring in the actors to do their voice recordings, and then all of that is kind of just on the animators. So if anything, let's triple the animator budget and the amount of animators on this project, and let's continue to bang out these seasons one by one. And when it comes to Invincible, you know, there's been a lot of, I guess, debate about this type of subject when it comes to animation. For me, the animation for Invincible is already, like, really, really good, and there's been a lot of complaints about Invincible animation, but for me, the animation is already good. Just continue to crank out the seasons one by one, bro. Like, I'd rather have a season a year of Invincible with the animation that we've currently been getting instead of waiting 2 or 3 years for a more advanced, like, I don't know, Spider-Verse level animation style. Like, no, bro. The thing about Invincible is the story. The story is what makes it so peak, and I think by the time Invincible is done, it will be arguably the greatest comic book project of all time. Definitely the greatest comic book show. I think without a shadow of a doubt, Invincible will be the best comic book show of all time when it's over. And it could be in the conversation for greatest comic book project ever over like any movie too. And one of the things I'm looking forward to with Invincible Season 4 is obviously the introduction of Thrag, who's like the Thanos big overarching villain of all of Invincible. Thrag is the, I guess, king of the Viltrum Empire, and he is going to be in Season 4. They already said that he's cast. They just haven't announced the casting. And I think, guys, we should look forward to next weekend, which is San Diego Comic-Con. Your boy will be there in the flesh. I can't wait to meet so many of you guys. I'm going to be there with Iron Studios, Prime Video, and just doing a ton of different stuff, because even though Marvel and DC aren't going to Comic-Con, there's still going to be a lot of stuff happening. There's going to be a Peacemaker panel, and I'm sure they're going to drop like a new trailer or something. There's going to be some other panels for different movies and shows. Gen V has a panel, and I know a lot of us are excited for what's to come for the future of The Boys, so they're going to be doing stuff for that as well. So next week is going to be a big week in general, but I think next week there also might be an opportunity for them to announce the casting of Thrag at Comic-Con, because I do think Amazon has like an animation panel. And I think obviously Invincible falls under the Prime Video Amazon animation. And so I do think they could announce the Thrag casting next week. So that might be something to keep your eyes out for. But in general, guys, next week we have Fantastic Four. I'm watching it on Monday, and so I'm going to be providing you guys that out-of-theater reaction on Monday, and we'll find out, you know, what's up with the movie, on whether or not it's great or good or bad. Even like, we're going to find out how good Fantastic Four really is. Again, with everything we've seen so far, I think the movie is already good, but now when I finally get to watch it, I will tell you guys whether or not it's actually great, because I feel like, again, this is the Marvel event of the year. Marvel's been really cooking with everything we've seen from Fantastic Four, and I'm excited to see what they have in store. So out of theater reaction will be on Monday, and then I will be making additional videos throughout the week. Next week's episode of the Supes Show will very likely be a Fantastic Four spoiler discussion, so keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll drop next Friday morning. And then I will be at Comic-Con all of next week. And there's going to be a lot going down there as well. So I'll be keeping you guys updated on Instagram, on TikTok. And I'll rendezvous back on the YouTube channel once I get back, because I also might be going to London the week after. And so we'll see what happens. I will keep you guys in the loop, keep you guys updated, and keep you guys updated with everything going on in the world of superheroes. But with that being said, thank you guys for joining me for a light episode of the Supes Show this Friday morning. The next episode drops next Friday morning, and so I'll see you guys then. Make sure to like this video, comment down below your thoughts on anything we talked about in today's video. Make sure to subscribe, hit that notification on my channel to get notified for future videos. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this one. I love you guys 3000, and I'll see you guys next time.